You're a black man, and from the moment you enter the world, the clock starts ticking on how long people will let you just be. You're not even out of diapers before someone decides you're too rough on the playground. You shove a kid, and it's a crisis. He shoves back, and it's boys will be boys. But you're aggressive. You're a problem. You're already getting the kind of attention no one wants. Wide eyes, stiff posture, people pulling their children just a little closer. You're not allowed to be a child for very long. Innocence has an expiration date when you're a black boy. You turn 12, and suddenly you're seen as a man by cops, teachers, strangers in the grocery store. No more cute, no more playful. Now you're a threat, a walking caution sign. You go to school and outperform half your class, but still get called articulate, like it's a miracle, like it's shocking that you know what metaphor means, like speaking in full sentences makes you the Black Yoda. You get praised for doing the bare minimum, because no one expected anything from you to begin with. And when you do excel, people act like you owe them an explanation. How did you get that internship? What sport do you play? You can't just be smart, you can't just be talented. There's got to be a catch. You learn quickly that your tone has to be soft, even when you're right. Your voice can't carry too far. Your body can't move too fast. Your eyes can't linger too long. Because every part of you, the way you stand, the way you speak, the way you breathe, has consequences. You aren't allowed to be angry, even when anger is justified. You aren't allowed to be afraid, even when fear is survival. You walk into a room and scan it, not for exits, but for comfort, for signals. Who's watching? Who's locking their car doors? Who's crossing the street? Who's clenching their bag like your presence is a felony? You dress well, and people call you clean, like you're supposed to be dirty. You wear a hoodie, and suddenly you're a statistic in waiting. Doesn't matter if you're a Harvard grad or a mechanic, you're a suspect. You're dangerous until proven otherwise, and even then, people still aren't sure. You get followed around in stores like you're casing the place. You haven't stolen a thing in your life, but you're already on the security camera's highlight reel. Meanwhile, Becky's stuffing candles into her tote bag like it's a clearance bin and nobody bats an eye. You drive a nice car and get pulled over for looking suspicious. Suspicious of what? Owning property? Breathing while melanated? You keep both hands on the wheel, wallet already out, registration ready. You say "sir" with every sentence. You smile when you're terrified, because one wrong movement means a headline, means hashtags, means your name on a t-shirt your family didn't ask to wear. You survive the encounter, but you don't feel safe. Not even close. You feel lucky. You feel exhausted. And you know it'll happen again. You go to work, and every day is a performance, a tightrope. You code switch so hard you forget what your actual voice sounds like. You laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You nod through microaggressions like it's a damn reflex. You're so well-spoken. You're not like the others. I don't even think of you as black. And you smile. Because confronting it costs you more than it costs them to say it. Your coworkers mistake proximity for permission. Suddenly they're asking about your hair, your slang, your culture, like you're the human version of Google, like you're on call for a diversity scavenger hunt. But the minute you bring up racism, now you're divisive. You're making it about race, like it wasn't already. You date, and even that's a minefield. You're a fantasy to some, a fetish to others. People treat you like an experiment they want to try. I've always wanted to be with a black guy, like you're an adventure sport, like you're a passport stamp. You say no, and suddenly you're intimidating. You say yes, and they act like they're doing you a favor. In relationships, you're expected to be unshakable, emotionless, stoic, because nobody gives you space to be soft. Vulnerability, that's not for you. You cry, and people think you're weak. You stay quiet, and they call you cold. There's no room for you to hurt, no room for you to heal. You're the protector, the provider, the rock, no matter how cracked you feel inside. And therapy? That's a joke. Not because you don't need it, but because finding a therapist who gets it is like winning the lottery without buying a ticket. You sit across from someone who doesn't know the weight you carry, who treats your trauma like a puzzle to be solved, not a storm you've survived daily. They ask if your fear is irrational, and you wonder what world they live in. You walk down the street, and people look over their shoulder. You enter an elevator, and someone clutches their phone like you're going to snatch it through Bluetooth. Your smile becomes a tool of disarmament. Your silence becomes a defense mechanism. You're not allowed to be average, not ever, because average means invisible. Average means disposable. You have to excel. You have to outperform. You have to be undeniable, just to be barely accepted. And even then, they might still question your qualifications, still call you lucky, still assume you got a handout instead of earning it. You get judged by your mistakes, but not just yours. Every black man's. You mess up, and it's not he made a mistake. It's they're all like that. Your failure becomes the foundation of someone else's stereotype. Your success is the exception. Your downfall is the rule. Media shows you in extremes, either the thug or the saint, the criminal or the superhero. You're never just a guy, never just human. You die on screen and no one flinches. You get cast as the villain before the script is even finished. And when your real-life death goes viral, it becomes content. Your last moments become someone's retweet. Your mother's grief becomes a meme. Your humanity gets debated in the comment section by people who never saw you as human to begin with. You live with a constant tension, pride in your identity, pressure from the world. You love your culture, but you also carry the exhaustion that comes with it, the exhaustion of constantly being seen but never really understood. And through all of this, you still show up. You still laugh. You still fall in love. You still raise your children and protect your people. You still dance, still build, still create. You still live, even when the world keeps trying to make you a cautionary tale. But none of that makes it fair. None of that means it doesn't suck. Because being a black man isn't just living life, it's navigating a minefield with style. It's armor you didn't ask for, training you didn't choose, and a fight that never really ends. And when you break, people act surprised.